Hey guys, it's Leonard here. So in this video I want to share with you 3 ways to build rapport in less than 5 minutes. So the first tip I have for you is starting conversations with open questions. Now, an open question essentially is a question which allows the person that you're communicating with, whether it's a friend, female, prospect, someone you're meeting for the first time, it basically is a question that evokes an answer that is more emotional or personal to the person you're asking. For example, an open question would be something around the likes of, how was your day? You see, when you ask open questions, you're giving the person you're speaking to a platform to essentially let you know how they feel, let you know what their experience is. And what many people tend to do is go into conversations suggesting or pushing their personality on the individual that they're talking to without taking a step back and understanding that there's more power in understanding the person you're speaking to than telling them about who you are. So, my first tip is to go into conversations with open questions. How are you feeling today? What was your day like? How do you feel about this event? Questions like this give the person you're speaking the platform to open up. And that's the first step in building a rapport. Number 2, find out perspectives on worldly events. Now, I want to be very clear with you. What you don't want to do is go into this conversation with a person you don't know, pushing your political view, or really going into your personal views on the way you feel about worldly events, because you may meet someone that has an opposing view. So I strongly suggest that when you're going into this kind of approach, you're going in it from more of an inquisitive perspective as opposed to one pushing yours. An example of this would be asking, for example, how someone felt about the lockdown period. How did you feel? What did you do in this period? You see, questions like this are universal questions because they're not exactly personal questions, but what they are is universal. And it enables light communication to begin because people have perspectives on worldly events, of course, all different. But what it does do is it gets the person you're speaking to opening up and giving you their personal opinion on a perspective. And it's very important not to begin these questions with your perspective, because if you go into the situation saying, lockdown was terrible, I hated it, what did you think? You're more than likely going to get the other person you're speaking to closing their opinion of it and giving you something similar just in order to avoid the awkward moment. So go into these questions with a very open mind and simply ask a question like, hey, how did you find the lockdown period? Was it productive or did you find it hard? You tell me. Simple questions like this really open people up, and that's what we're trying to do here within the first 5 minutes. Open people up and also get an understanding about who the individual is, and in order for us to really build that relationship without saying the wrong thing or imposing our views to make them feel uncomfortable and have to pretend to agree with them. So number 3 is to share something vulnerable about yourself. Now, I know a lot of people go into networking environments, or if you're trying to meet the next partner in your life, whether it's a male or a female, a lot of us have the idea that when we meet someone that we don't know, the strongest form of building a relationship is showing strength. And to some extent, it can work, but this is a very rare case. What generally tends to happen is people are always navigating to find out if they can meet someone that is similar to them. And unlike success, money, wealth, or items, one thing that is always going to be universal amongst humans is pain. So now, being vulnerable, i.e. sharing a moment of your uncertainty with someone you don't know, enables them to put their guard down. For example, think very lightly about what's happening in your life and how you really feel. Think about the strongest thing that's happened in your life. Maybe your career is going really well, but on the downside, you're having a bit of a tough time with your family or your friends or your partner because you're getting less time. That would be a vulnerable thing that's going on. What you could do in this moment is simply ask or share with the person you're speaking to, a moment of that vulnerability and get their perspective. For example, hey, I'm doing very well right now in my business, but I'm struggling when it comes down to managing my relationship and time and social life. How do you do it? What you then do is enable the person to feel that you are more of a human being and less of a perfect person trying to understand or get to know who they are. You see, when you add your vulnerability into building your rapport, what you're doing is you're going into another layer and you're actually putting a barrier down between both of you, because just like you, the person you're trying to build this rapport with has experienced vulnerable moments and has experienced some form of pain. So what you are doing is enabling them to feel okay to also express their perspective on vulnerable moments that you've had. So I strongly suggest learning to be okay with asking and being open with your vulnerability. Not too much, and I don't mean going overboard and explaining all of your problems in your life, but vulnerability shows humanity. So I definitely suggest adding this to your rapport building. So there you go. These are 3 ways that you can build rapport with someone in less than 5 minutes. Now, I know there's only 3 and they sound very simple, but you have to practice them. And it's only until you're actually in the moment that you realize how powerful they are. Building rapport is a very, very, very powerful skill to be able to master and just have, because it gives you an element of confidence. And it also changes your perspective in the way in which you see the relationships you're trying to build and what you're looking for when you're trying to build them. Because I think a lot of people think that building a relationship means being perfect, when in actuality, building a relationship is more about being human. So once again, I'm Leonard, and I post videos based on sales education, orientation, and increasing your conversion rate. I enjoy sharing these videos with you. Please let me know in the comment section below if you have any other ways or methods that you use to build rapport with people that our community can benefit from. Also, it's very important that you click on that like button, because by liking my posts, you help me to optimize my videos, and by optimizing my videos, more people see it and the channel grows. So I appreciate you liking, commenting, and sharing my content, and I look forward to sharing more with you. Catch you on the other side.